HBO's The Last of Us returns with a new season on Max. Every path has a price. 5 years after the events of the first season, Joel and Ellie are drawn into conflict with each other in a world even more dangerous than the one they left behind. CNN calls The Last of Us exquisite, fully realized, and worthy of the hype. The new season of the HBO original series, The Last of Us, premieres April 13th on Max. And listen to the official The Last of Us podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
There are people out there all across the country pushing boundaries to grow the game of golf. Like champion speed golfer Lauren Cupp, who plays faster than anyone else. And Will Lowry, whose work in the golf community inspires more kids to get into the game. As a champion partner of the Masters, Bank of America supports everyone determined to find out what's possible. In golf and in life. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC, copyright 2025, Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Oh, excuse us. Dustin's playing the hi-hat, and I'm playing the bass.
I did a little crash over here. A little crash. Yeah.
Very nicely done. Welcome, everyone, to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We're back!
We're back!
We're back! And we're presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the hosts of the show. And to my right is a man joining us from parts unknown, partially because he's in hiding from peeing in the creek at the Masters, Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are you doing today, man?
Look, I'm sorry, but when you got to go, you got to go. You can't stop the flow. You know, you have a few brews. You have a few brews and you get it going. Aren't you glad we're back? Aren't you glad we're back? I'm glad that I'm back, broadcasting from parts unknown, as you pointed out. But I'm thrilled that you are back, that I am back, and I'm here to. We're here. We're ready to talk some stuff. We're going to get into it like we always do. But how are you on this fine Saturday morning, recovering from your trip and your time out of town?
Yes, I'll talk about that time out of town in just a second here, but otherwise I'm doing all right. You know, had a couple days to recover. I'll talk about why we had a little bit of a layoff. We wanted to come back on Wednesday, but things happened.
Yes, life happened, and I
did.
Yeah, I never want to speak, so that's like when Julie asked in our Discord, I said, unfortunately, we had to postpone. I was very vague because I did not want to speak for you. So
thank you. Yeah.
So, but we're glad for the people that asked. We're glad that people miss us in some sort of way, and we're happy to be back.
We're happy to be back. Before we get into the nooks and crannies of this episode of the Saturday Brunch edition of No Credentials Required, I want to remind you to follow us. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. And also check out our other podcasts and our podcasts and written articles on bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, you can subscribe to the podcast wherever you find podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, and Pandora. And also don't forget to get notified on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when we're live. That way you know when new videos are up, when new video clips are up, when we have show announcements, when we have contest announcements like one we just had with Overwatch 2025. We'll get into that in just a moment. But also on the podcast side, please rate, review, comment. Rate and review, 5-star ratings, always helpful. Reviews on platforms, we could always review. We could always leave a review. Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, those are the podcast platforms. You can leave a review. You can do that as well. And also, if you're on Spotify, if you're subscribed to us on Spotify, leave us a comment. You can leave us a comment for every episode, including this one. So leave us a comment. We'll even read it on the air. And because we're a live show, we're a little late today, but that's okay. just trying to we're just kind of just making sure everything is smooth and the show is good to go. But we are a live show most Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, and on Tuesdays we're returning on Tuesdays. This Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We are a live show, and we appreciate your comments if you want to chime in. And speaking of chiming in, Dustin, my non-existent watch is telling me something.
Yes, it is chime time.
I miss this sound. And just an FYI to everyone who's watching, we are broadcasting from our Twitter channel today, our YouTube channel, which will be live at 6, which will be live now, but a little later it'll be on Belly Up Sports YouTube channel, and we're broadcasting on the Belly Up Sports Facebook page today. So in case you're wondering, what's going on here? Why is there so many? What's going on here? Well, you know what's going on today. So this is where we're broadcasting from, and again, the replay will be on later today. Around 7 p.m. Eastern on the Belly Up YouTube channel. You can listen to the audio edition of this show, which will be on our RSS podcast feed a little bit later on today when the audio goes up. But we're going to start off with the Saturday tradition, a tradition unlike any other, because it's Masters season. Hot food takes.
Hot food takes. The physics-defying burger returns.
The incredibly weirdly bouncing bun that is that burger on Hot Food Takes. We talked about this. Let's see. Last time on Hot Food Takes, I believe we did our nut rankings. Which by nut rankings we mean we talk about mixed nuts.
Mixed nuts. Yep.
Yeah.
Mixed nuts. And the time before that, you had a great idea inspired by the Masters dinner, which the Masters is going on as we speak. So tune in, go back into the archives, and also subscribe if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel. Not only is our show on there, but there's a lot of other great shows on there. Corner Booth Pod, Fantasy Baseball, if that's your thing. We have shows all about that on the network. People cover that much better than we do, and we just might have a little something being added to the show as the spring continues to advance. So stay tuned to socials for that. And there's just lots to check out on there. So subscribe if you haven't already.
Please. If you hit that subscribe button for YouTube, Belly Up YouTube. So Dustin's idea for this week, he said, what are we going to do for next week? What are we going to do for next edition of Hot Food Takes? He says, donuts versus bagels. I said, well, I like that idea. Excuse me, I had to clear my throat there. I want to be professional and hit the cough button. But I said, why don't we just do bagel power rankings? Because bagels are versatile. I mean, bagels. It's a Northeast staple, particularly in New York and New Jersey. Yeah. I have a hot take for food, and I say New Jersey bagels are better than New York bagels.
All right. I haven't had a New Jersey bagel, at least.
Next time I go, I'll bring you
my
one.
Memory. Oh, well, thank you, sir. Thank you. I will try it out. My co-host on Seahawks Sessions, one of my co-hosts, that show is it's fun. Sometimes it's Staniel and I driving the bus. Sometimes it's Kevin, Staniel, and I driving the bus. And sometimes I just show up and try to look pretty. But Staniel Smooth said that Long Island has the best bagels. And I said I'd give that to him. But then when you heard that, you stepped in. You said you vouched for New Jersey. So I feel like we got to have a bagel off.
I'm always going to vouch for New Jersey because that's my state of origin, as it were in the if you watch Aussie National Rugby League and you're big into rugby like I am, state of origin, you know what that is. So, but Dustin, how we lead off? We're gonna give our top three bagel choices. This is primarily, this is all subjective. This is all our
Yes.
personal style. It's all our personal rankings. If you like your own bagel, if you like your bagel a certain way, hey, that's on you. It's America, baby. Have your
Yeah.
bagel anytime, you can have your bagel any way you want.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna lead us off, and I'm gonna do my top three, but I am gonna cheat a little bit and throw in an honorable mention. I will say I'm more of a savory bagel guy, but every once in a while I do like a sweet one. So my honorable mention is the French toast bagel.
Ooh,
Not every place has this, but if they have it, and I'm in the mood for it, I'm getting that in the dozen. I like to get a little variety pack of bagels. A lot of people have a lot of things to say about Brugger's. I don't hate on Brugger's. I'll get down on a Brugger's bagel. I grew up with it. My dad was a Brugger's fan. But I've since graduated to some other bagel places. But I'm not going to hate on Brugger's like a lot of people in this area do. So my number 3 is the plain Jane. I love a good plain bagel. It's versatile. You can top it with whatever you want. I personally like my bagels with butter on them. I prefer it to cream cheese. I'll get down on some cream cheese if the right kind speaks to me. But the plain is just a perfect vessel. And if it's made right and it's fresh, the combo of bread and butter, like, you can't beat it. And that's basically what a plain bagel is. I love a plain bagel. Call me boring if you want to. Plain Jane makes the list at number 3 for me. Number two, I'm going to go with a salt bagel. I love a salt bagel. If you haven't had a salt bagel, get down on it. It's delicious. It's salty. It just mixes so well with everything, and I love that. It's almost like eating a soft pretzel, and I'm a big fan of a soft pretzel. Salt bagel makes the list at number 2, and number 1. This is how you can tell that I'm becoming an old man, Ryan. I am becoming an old man. My mom loved this bagel, and when I was a kid, I didn't get it. But I don't know if she transferred some of her taste buds onto me, or I'm turning in, because shout out to you, Mom, as I often do. I shout out Mom on this show. You may have passed on, but you've also passed on some of your ailments that I used to make fun of you for. I'm starting to get them. So maybe taste buds are transferring as well, because my number 1, and it shocks me to say this, but it's just got that special something, that lovely taste. Pumpernickel bagel. I love a pumpernickel bagel, and pumpernickel really only tastes like pumpernickel. I don't even know how to describe the taste. I don't know, but it's pumpernickel. It's good. It's I just love it. And I mostly prefer my bagels toasted, but pumpernickel is one of the ones, pumpernickel and salt particularly, I can eat them any old way. I can just cut right into them right when they get out of the bagel shop. It's a surprising number 1 for me, but I really like it. Also, special shout out to the blueberry bagel. I am a blueberry fan, and but it just didn't make the list. I am shocked as anybody that pumpernickel's my number 1, but here we are. That is it. And I prefer butter on my bagels to cream cheese, so that might influence some of my choices. There's a lot of bagel varieties. I feel like I short shrifted garlic, but garlic bagel, you have a bagel in the morning, you got to deal with garlic breath for the rest of the day.
Yeah, you
and
do.
Sometimes I'm not about that. I'm not about that. And with that, Ryan, I pass it to you.
Yeah, if you don't want that mixture of garlic and coffee breath hitting somebody in the face at 9:00 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
Carl, please step to my office. There's complaints about your personal hygiene, but it's my bagel and my coffee, sir.
Carl, you could kill a vampire out here. We got to talk.
Oh man. See, opposite to you, I'm more of a sweet bagel guy. So,
okay, I got you.
And actually, one of the things, I'll tell you this. I guess Montreal, city of Montreal, Quebec, one of my favorite cities in the world. Atlanta's creeping up there, though.
Oh man! Oh, spoiler!
Spoiler alert! But Montreal, one of my favorite cities to go to. They have bagels, and I guess there's one bagel company. I forgot the name of it. already. But they do theirs a little bit sweet. Like they do theirs, they boil them in honey with honey.
Oh,
and then
okay.
they put them in the oven. So I think it's called Viator Brothers. I can't remember the name. Hang on, Montreal Bagels, Bagel Company.
Montreal. I've only been
Saint Viator.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so that's where I need to go. Next time I go to Montreal, gotta go to Saint Viator Bagel and try one of their bagels. Maybe I'll do a bagel exchange. I'll bring a bagel from New Jersey, and I go to the border, and they say, "Do you have anything to declare?" I say, "I'll say I have a bagel from New Jersey to give to Saint Viator Bagel as a part of an exchange."
That could go a myriad of different ways for you, Ryan.
It could. I could be welcomed as a hero. I could be banned from the country. We don't know.
Yeah. We don't know.
But yes, I'm more of a sweet bagel guy. And I do want to give honorable mention to the everything bagel, and I'll tell you why. You haven't lived unless you've had a great egg sandwich on a bagel.
Oh yeah,
fried egg, a little bit of bacon, maybe sausage, whichever your pleasure is that day, on an everything bagel. Get the salt, get the onion, get the garlic, get the poppy, get the sesame, get everything on that bagel, and you just enjoy it to your heart's content. It hits the spot every single time. But going on, number 3, I like me a blueberry bagel.
Mm-hmm. It's good. It's good.
Good. Yeah. And what I like to do, and this is going to sound like a weird combination. Again, this is me talking.
Mm-hmm.
I like a blueberry bagel with a little bit of peanut butter.
All right. I could try it. It's not like the raisins and the goldfish, like another podcast host I know. Yes, no. Daniel, I am going to keep bringing it back. I'm sorry.
Sociopath.
I hope he listens to this.
And I say that out of love. I don't say that out of spite. I say that out of pure love because I love that dude. He's like, He's like a little bro. He's like a little bro. You know? So that's number 3. Number two for me, and speaking of raisin, cinnamon raisin.
Okay.
Do like and then like you talk about the pumpernickel, how your mom influenced your decision, your love for pumpernickel. My dad influenced my love for the cinnamon raisin bagel, and it's a nice bagel. It's you don't make an egg sandwich with it, that's for sure. Although I've done it before. I've gone to Uncommon Grounds in Clifton Park, and I would go for my number 1 choice. I won't reveal it until it's time. And I looked over to see the other bagels they got. I go, "Could I do cinnamon raisin?" They go, "Yeah, absolutely." Like they didn't ban me from the store. They didn't say get out and give me my money back.
It's like not like they kicked you out.
Like the soup Nazi, but no, they said, yeah, go for it. And it was all right, but I prefer it. Cinnamon raisin is good by itself. Or again, I'm a peanut butter guy, so I love me a little bit of peanut butter with my bagels. So that's number 2. Number one is sesame.
All right, sesame's a good pick. I like
sesame. Is so versatile because you can do so many things with it. You can put your lox on the bagels. You can put your lox and cream cheese on that bagel. You can put peanut butter on it. You can put an egg and some bacon on it. It's versatile. It's kind of like the plain, but with a little bit more
pizzazz.
A little more pizzazz, a little more joie de vivre, as the French would say.
Okay.
And this, but it also harkens back because everything comes back to childhood. Everything comes back to childhood, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I remember back in the day when we used to do overnights in New Jersey, we'd stay at my aunt and my uncle's house. And my uncle, and it'd be on a weekend, so my uncle would go to the local bagel shop over in I think it's either in Wayne or Pequannock. Shout out to KJ's Bagels in New Jersey, in Pequannock, New Jersey. And he would get a dozen bagels. And my aunt would cut them up. She's like, what kind of bagel do you want? I'm like, I always want sesame. Toasted sesame bagel with peanut butter. Always hits the spot. When I'm feeling down, when I'm feeling great, I'm like, I'm in the mood for something sweet, but also a little bit toasty. It tastes like, those Stella D'Oro breadsticks, sesame breadsticks.
Yeah.
It tastes like those. Like you put it in the toaster oven for a bit, toast them up real nice, put some peanut butter on them. It tastes like a Stella D'Oro breadstick. I love me some sesame bagels. So that's my number one, sesame bagels. So
that's a good one. That's a good one. I almost threw it in my honorable mentions too, but I was getting a little out of control with the honorable mentions because as I've gotten older, like when I was a kid, I don't know about you, Ryan, and I still like donuts. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm going to get down on a donut, but as I've gotten older, I'll shift to a bagel a little bit more. Sometimes I just get a craving for a bagel. I'm like, you know what? Give me a bagel instead.
Mhm.
And because like you said, the breakfast sandwich, I mean, I make one at least twice a week. It's become one of my big staples here. So the bagel is growing in prominence as I get up there in age.
Yeah, I mean, usually if I go for a bagel sandwich, I'll get it on a hard roll because I'm trying to watch bagels got a lot more carbs. I got to watch my figure as I get older. So
that you're smarter. I should do that, but I just have a little rhyme when I order a breakfast sandwich. I say sausage, egg, cheese on a toasted bagel, please. And it gets the job done.
Gets the job done. That's right. That's right. So what's your favorite bagel? What's your top 3 bagels? Leave them in the comments either on the podcast side, or on the Belly Up YouTube side. We want to know what your preferred bagel is. And that's going to do it for this edition of Hot Food Takes. Speaking of not bagels, speaking of sesame's on that bun.
It is a sesame seed bun. Nice tie-in.
It is. All right. We have something to announce. So we're going to play this. We're going to play this little bit bumper for possibly the last time ever on No Credentials Required.
OV Gold Watch 2025.
Right. Our watch has come to an end, folks, because on Sunday afternoon, Alexander Ovechkin became the new all-time goal-scoring king of the National Hockey League, scoring his 895th goal in the second period, as is his style, left face-off circle on the power play, with Gary Bettman, Wayne Gretzky and his family in the crowd, Alexander Ovechkin's wife and their kids in the crowd, and his mom in the crowd.
Yep, his mother was there.
At UBS Arena on Long Island, New York. So congratulations to Alexander Ovechkin, the new king, the new goal-scoring king of the NHL. And I got some thoughts on this because so as we talked about at the top of the show, I was in Atlanta for a wedding, and we actually got to hang out with the bride and the groom at their house on Sunday. Rainy Sunday, thunderstorms going on, so not much going on, not much to do. We just hung out, ate pizza, ate wings, and watched 3 games of hockey. And the first game was Washington Capitals and the New York Islanders, and just to see if Ovi would break the record. Because initially, my friend and I, who traveled with me, we were going to try to see if we would go to a sports bar or a pub somewhere and watch the game, but we decided to go to our friend's house, and he happened to have Hulu Live, so we watched the game. And as soon as they went, and as soon as the Capitals went on that power play in the second period, I said, "This is it. He's going to break the record. He's going to do it." Lo and behold, a little bit of a rush. Tom Wilson throws a pass cross ice to Alexander Ovechkin, and it's not it wasn't the typical Alexander Ovechkin slapper, one-timer slapper.
No,
it was a nifty little wrist shot.
Yeah, I was going to say it was a wrister,
and it went past Ilya Sorokin. Crowd goes crazy, and it's not just the Capitals fans who traveled up to New York to watch this game, but also Islanders fans were very content as well. So
Yeah.
they got to see the record broken. And I was watching SportsCenter that morning, getting ready to check out of the hotel, and then getting ready to check back in the same hotel that night. But they were mentioning on SportsCenter, yeah, if Ovechkin breaks the record, it's going to be a 7 to 10. There's going to be about an 8 to 10 minute pause and play while they do the ceremony, and they have Wayne Gretzky talk, and they have Gary Bettman talk, and maybe have Alexander Ovechkin say something. 17 minutes later, they go back. They go back to start the game again. So it was great. It was great to see that. It's interesting that we've seen, and I think it was either my friend Sean or my friend Joe noted that it's crazy that in our lifetime we've seen 2 goal records broken in the NHL. First, it was Wayne Gretzky as a member of the Los Angeles Kings, and 20-something years later, and the same amount of games, mind you. This is the scary part.
Yeah.
In the same amount of games, Alexander Ovechkin breaks the record.
Yeah, that's pretty freaky. That I have to admit, them doing it in the same amount of games is pretty wild. And I do have some thoughts on this record. First, shout out to the Islanders fans who were very, as you said, they were very respectful. And I thought the Islanders did a great job of having everything prepared and rolling out the carpet for Ovi, literally. And the painting was there. Everything. I watched the whole ceremony after he broke the record. Candidly, I was just about to go into the bathroom to brush my teeth because I was watching the game and I was like, I gotta brush my teeth. I realized I hadn't done it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stay out here a little bit longer because I got a feeling something's coming. And then, of course, it happened. And shout out to my buddy Kenny who reminded me. He said, "You got to watch the game today. It's on right now." And I was like, "Oh, Ovi could break the record today," and I turned it on real quick. So. I did see the ceremony. I thought that they did a great job. I thought that Wayne Gretzky in particular, his thoughts, he made me laugh when he said he's glad that he's not at the Nassau Coliseum. He said he lost a lot of games there. And the whole presenting of the gift by Mrs. Gretzky to Mrs. Ovechkin, pretty classy move, kind of Wayne passing the torch because he told the story about Gordie Howe's wife giving a gift to Mrs. Gretzky when I believe Janet is her name, correct?
Janet, yep.
When the record, he broke the record, and he just talked, and he was respectful to Ovechkin as he has been the whole time, because we all know the story that his father told him, someday somebody's going to break your record, and I hope you're treat them with as much respect and be thrilled for them as you are to break Gordie's record. So Wayne, in my opinion, he did that. I'm not surprised that he did that. The ceremony was nice. I thought that Ovechkin thanking Sorokin for allowing him to break the record. Those two are teammates. But I do have to talk pretty quickly about, because I have a tendency to ramble. We all know this, but pretty quickly, I just have a problem, and I've been waiting all week to discuss this with you, Ryan. I have a problem. Immediately after Ovechkin breaks the record, I go to social media, and there's a post, and I see it, and somebody goes, "Yeah, but how many assists does he have?" Immediately. Can we let the man have his moment? Wayne Gretzky's status as the greatest hockey player will never be in question. Okay? Nobody is coming for it. But to immediately take the knees out from something great that Alex Ovechkin has done, the longevity it takes, the consistency it takes, lest we mention that he missed parts of the season with a broken freaking leg. I am sick and tired of everybody's got to tear everything down. I call it the worshiping at the altar of certain players. Certain players are untouchable. Wayne Gretzky, immediately they're like, "Oh, he doesn't have as many assists." So they're just trying to rip apart Alex Ovechkin for his accomplishment. and I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. Michael Jordan gets the same treatment. Anytime anyone in the basketball world does anything, immediately they have to go, oh, but he's not as good as Jordan because Jordan. Can we just let other people accomplish things? Can we please?
I'm one of those people. I'm sorry,
Please.
Dustin.
but it's like, can we please let other people accomplish things? And maybe someday, I'm not going to say that it's going to happen. And I'm not saying that anybody currently has done it. I'm not making any of those arguments. But hypothetically, there could be a player down the line who comes out and is on the level of a Michael Jordan or a Wayne Gretzky. It could happen. I'm not saying it's likely, but the fact that people are like, no one will ever be as good. No one will ever be as good. You don't know that. You can't predict that. You have no way of knowing. And it's just the worshiping at the altar, the constant worshiping. No one is questioning Wayne Gretzky's status as the greatest hockey player of all time. Let Alexander Ovechkin have his moment and acknowledge that what he has done is also great. Okay. End scene.
End rant. And I've got one of my own too. The next day on ESPN, because God forbid we have we have a day in the life of whatever that show is, Get Up.
Oh, yeah. The Greenberg hosted one, I think. Yeah.
Or whichever show that is with Stephen A. Smith or
it's probably First Take.
First Take. Yeah, God forbid on First Take we don't have a day that ends in Y that we have to talk about LeBron James. And of course they bring in Stephen A. Smith. You got your Shannon Sharp, who for some reason has to get into a conversation about basketball and hockey. And you bring in poor PK Subban.
Yeah.
Poor PK Subban, who is who's brought in as a hockey analyst, because you got to have a hockey analyst. And there's Molly Curum looking kind of clueless as to what do I do here? Oh God, what have I get myself into? I just wanted to do news. They have a conversation. They bring up who is which is the more impressive record? Alexander Ovechkin's breaking Wayne Gretzky's scoring record, or LeBron James breaking the all-time points scoring record in the NBA, breaking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record. And I'm like, do we have to have this conversation?
No, honestly, we don't.
We don't have to have this conversation. We don't have to have this hot takey
BS, man.
I'm trying not to swear because we have standards.
Yes,
but
we do.
I hate this. I hate this conversation now. I hate this, that we've reached this point in podcasting and it's spread into journalism too. Let's call it what it is. It's bled into journalism. All this hot take BS about which record is greater, which player is more impressive. It's like, guys, these are two different sports.
Yeah,
there's two different scoring records. Yes, LeBron James, his scoring record is impressive because he's been in the NBA since he was 18 years old. Yeah. Yes, Alexander Ovechkin's record, I think he would have broken it sooner if it wasn't for the lockout in 2005.
Yeah, he could have.
He could have broken it last year.
Whole season. Yeah, and the broken leg too. We probably would have broken it earlier this year.
Probably. That's one thing I forgot when he broke the record, is that he was out for 6 weeks with a broken fibula. And that's not an easy injury to come back from, especially in hockey, because you got put that boot on your leg, and which has a blade at the end of it. But can we please stop this clickbaity nonsense for views and for engagement? Because you got me. Yeah. I quote tweeted. I basically quote tweeted awful announcing's video, and I just said this. I said, "We did it, everybody. We brought LeBron James to a conversation about sport completely unrelated to basketball. I hate it here." And then I supplemented that with another tweet saying, "This is why I always support independent and small media networks whenever I can. The factory that is ESPN will continue to produce hot take turnovers because cheap, hackneyed narratives get cheap engagement." And this is what that is. It is cheap, hackneyed engagement for the sake of clicks, for the sake of driving up engagement. It's engagement farming. They don't know it.
Yeah, it's all they, it's kind of like, sorry there. It's kind of like how, stick with me on this crazy analogy, but the media landscape has changed. And because of the shortening of attention spans and the change in styles and a whole bunch of different factors, but it's kind of like how music has changed. If you examine the way songs are written now, newer songs are catering to the streaming services because they're trying to engage you in the first 10 seconds, because you have to play a song for at least 30 seconds or something, I think a little longer than that, for the artist to receive a royalty from it, even though it's fractions of a cent. But the fact remains, people are unconsciously or consciously writing songs where the chorus hits immediately in the first 30 seconds or the hook is there immediately in the first 30 seconds. And that, I think, sports journalism has completely changed from what we knew when we were growing up, because there are so many options now and they're trying to keep you there. So they're doing the clickbaity things that you've described, the same level.
Right.
They're changing the way that they're trying to engage. But I had a problem with this too, because it's apples and oranges. Yeah. Hockey and basketball are the complete opposite sports, and nobody is trying to take away from LeBron's accomplishment or Ovechkin's, but to compare the two is completely ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. And shout out to PK Subban for basically subtly saying that, on during the segment. Because I saw it too, Ryan, and it got me riled up. So.
Also, Shannon Sharp, shut up, man. Like, honestly,
Lakers in 5.
Yeah, and I watched the short clip I watched on Awful Announcing is that he just, it's not about conversation anymore. It's about being the loudest voice in the room, because a lot of times, this is part of what I hate about this business, is that the loudest voice gets the most attention. It doesn't mean you're right.
Yeah.
Which is why I like to keep our show a little bit more toned down.
Yeah.
This is why we do, because that's our style. But I mean, I'll get boisterous if it's the topic that I.
Passion. There's a difference between passion and
there's a subtle difference between passion and just wanting to be the loudest voice in the room and wanting to be heard, and that's what Shannon Sharp does, and I'm sick of the act. I don't know about you.
Yeah. It's getting more and more transparent. You can see it when people are just trying to talk over each other and stuff. But and I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm no professional at this. I get riled up, and I'm probably going to get riled up again. Spoiler, just a bit later in the show. But
that's next.
But I think that and I hope that Ryan and I have differences of opinion on a lot of matters, but you know what? I'm still going to shake his hand. We're still friends. It doesn't affect us, and we don't shout over each other on this show. It's not how we operate here.
It's not our modus operandi. And I'll give you one more subtle difference between basketball and hockey. If you remember a couple of years ago when LeBron did break Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record, a scoring record, and Kareem was at the crypto.com arena, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Like, he was there, but he didn't look like he wanted to be there when he broke the record. He kind of shook hands awkwardly and then kind of left. And then LeBron gave his speech or whatever. The hockey community is different. It's built so much different than I think any other sport out there, because when Wayne Gretzky was the second one to talk after Gary Bettman. And Wayne Gretzky, yeah, as you mentioned, Dustin, said, yeah, when Gordie Howe broke my record, when I broke Gordie Howe's record, wow, Gordie Howe breaking his record, I'll take quite an effort. I'll take quite the necromancy.
Yeah, Gordie in his 70s still out there.
But when he said that when he broke Gordie Howe's record, and you mentioned this too, he said he hopes that the next person he'll be around for the next person to break his record, and sure enough, he's there. He's making a speech at the ceremony, and he did it with grace. He also did it with a little bit of sense of humor, which was fun. So it just makes hockey is just such a different animal, a different sport than basketball, than football, than baseball, and you just gotta. That's one thing I just appreciate about the hockey community in general, is that it just do so many things different with a lot of class and not a lot of hoopla, not a lot of big to do. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah, and I think you have a unique perspective to speak on this because you've been around minor league hockey teams and things, between covering the sport and also being the team chaplain for our local former team around here. Mm-hmm. And the other thing I will say, though, I think a little bit of that is just the difference in people, the difference in personality. Because Kareem, he warmed up in his later years, but reading the Lakers, the Showtime book that I'm reading now at a snail's pace, mind you, but please don't judge me. Like Kareem was cantankerous, man. Like it's just his personality. He's a quiet, reserved, like sometimes shy, but also in a weird way, very vocal person if he's passionate about things. But he was never seemingly, from an outside observer who's just reading this, he was never very comfortable with the media, never very so I think part of the way he reacted perhaps when LeBron broke his record is partially just personality, just maybe Kareem's personality, whereas Wayne, I think, always handled that spotlight a little easier than Kareem, perhaps, because let's also give Kareem the benefit of the doubt. Anywhere he walked, he's going to attract stares just by existing because of his size and everything. Yep. Mm-hmm. Whereas Wayne, everybody's going to flock to him because he's the greatest hockey player of all time. But I don't think Wayne was looked at in the same way of like, wow, look at that, Kareem, I think Kareem's personality had a lot to do with the way that he reacted there. Yeah.
Also, one more funny thing to come from the OV goal from Ovechkin breaking the record, and I'll break this very brief. We'll talk about Luka Doncic. Budweiser sent a special edition can to every goalie that Ovi put a shot on, but could never get past. So you see a picture of Curtis Joseph with a special box and a special edition can from Budweiser. And Eddie Lack, who allowed 4 goals to Alexander Ovechkin during his days as a goaltender, was like, "This is BS." If I knew there was a beer involved, I would have tried to stop him a lot more.
Oh man, I didn't know that. Shout out to Cujo though, man. Former Oiler, former Curtis Joseph was around a long time. Yeah, I like that dude.
He was. Oh man, but I saw that too. I'm like, that's great. All right, we're gonna touch on this briefly before we take our network mandated commercial break. Dustin, this is a topic close to your fan heart. Luka Doncic returning to Dallas for the first time since that infamous trade that happened a few months ago. Very emotional return for Luka. I'll have you speak on this because I could have cared less.
Yeah. And I
was convalescing from my time at Waffle House.
and I know the last time I spoke about Luka Doncic on this show, I went on for a half an hour. I promise I will not do that. But
I'm holding you to it.
Yes, this trade. I just will say some quick comments. A lot has come out since the trade happened, and the return to Dallas, I guess in a way they had to do this But the Mavs social media, which I follow, they were tweeting "Welcome home, Luka," "Welcome home, 77," and they put together this whole video package. And I did not see the game. Candidly, I did not see the game, but I did follow and see the clips on social media. Luka Doncic never wanted to leave Dallas. He would have stayed the entire time. He was crying during the welcome package.
Mhm.
He then went out and dropped 45 points on the former squad. Everybody in Dallas was happy to see him. They were chanting "Welcome home." They were chanting. They were holding signs saying "You never should have left." It was a very emotional night for him. He stayed in Dallas after the game and worked as a cashier at a local spot in Dallas. Dallas is very clear to his heart. They were chanting "Fire Nico" at the arena. The wounds are still open, but the further we get from this trade, the more ridiculous it is. Luka Doncic did not want to leave. You just saw him drop 45 points on your team, which Dallas has struggled since the trade. And I remember people coming out and saying, "Oh, the hate coming out for AD is crazy, blah, blah, blah. Luka gets injured too." Well, Anthony Davis is older, and guess what happened? He missed time. He missed time almost immediately. And the last thing I'll say is, we all know this, but Mark Cuban has come out on podcast, Your Mom's House podcast. He said on there that when he sold the team, he tried to put language into the contract that said he would still have a say over basketball decisions. And the NBA said, no, you can't put that in there. He has come out and he said the trade would not have happened if he was still the sole owner of the Dallas Mavericks. Because now he just comes off as he's like a fan now. He has no control. And Nico Harrison did text him about the trade, and he was like, "I don't agree with it," but they went through with it anyway. Dallas just continues. Nico Harrison and the Dallas Mavericks just continue to look bad throughout this whole situation and the way that they handled it. Classy move, I guess, putting together the video package, but to say "welcome home" when you're the one that sent him out, pretty ridiculous. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
And now Dirk Nowitzki is at Laker games, everyone. This is what you've done. They have become friends. And Dirk said, he was like, Luka was pretty down about the whole thing after it happened. Because somebody asked him basically, why are you at Laker games? And he said, "I'll never be a Laker fan, but I'll always be a Luka fan," because they got close in the season that they played together. And it's not too much of a leap to say that Luka might have looked up to Dirk, because Dirk also came over from Europe at a young age. Dirk also became one of the greatest basketball players of all times while wearing a Mavericks uniform. And there should have been a statue of number 77 at American Airlines Arena next to Luka, or next to Dirk, when all was said and done, and they squandered it. That is all.
If my memory serves correctly, isn't Luka Doncic a free agent?
I don't know if he is, but I think that's part of the reason. That's supposedly part of the reason that, yes, I think free agency, but I'm not sure if he already signed an extension in LA.
That's right, because I remember correct. If I remember from that episode, if he were to be traded, he wouldn't be eligible for the max contract.
Yeah, the supermax.
Contract.
And that's what the Mavs were reportedly trying to avoid, because they apparently had concerns about giving Luka the supermax. That's part of their supposed justification.
Okay, so he's got a contract. Let's see. So he's got a player option in 2020 after 2027, and he's an unrestricted free agent in 2028.
Oh, okay.
And by that time, he'll be 29 years old.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Interesting. But yeah, nice welcome home package, Mavs, when you're the ones that sent him out of there. Nice work. And he's crying on the bench.
And then he drops 45 on you.
I know.
Great job.
I know.
Also, Luka's mom, how you doing?
Ryan giving a special shout out to Mrs. Doncic.
I'm shooting my no. I don't. Hey, I've heard she's single and ready to mingle. I mean,
All right. Hey,
if it's true, I'm shooting my shot.
nice.
We said his name and he appears in the comments section. Mr. Daniel Smooth saying, "Why is Dustin hiding in front of? Why is Dustin hiding in front of Dominic Hasek?"
I'm broadcasting from parts unknown today, Staniel. This is standard issue procedure when I'm broadcasting from parts unknown.
He also says Luka's mom. Hey-o! All right, we got to take our mandated commercial break, our network mandated commercial break. When we come back, we're going to reveal our favorite athletes to wear the number 25. So stay tuned and stand by for more No Credentials Required. This episode of No Credentials Required is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good, quality coffee with no bullshit and no filler, Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim to only serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you with the value you deserve for your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air roasted, 100% money back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and receive 15% off your order. That's right, my friends. Invader Coffee. It's the only coffee that goes in this mug. I'm still on the T-Max Organic blend, which is nice dark blend. It's delicious. And you can get your bag on our affiliate link, which is in the description. It'll be in the description both on the podcast side and on the Belly Up YouTube side a little bit later. Get yourself some coffee using our affiliate link, which helps the show. A little bit goes towards the show every time, but could also save yourself 15% off your order with promo code BELLYUP at checkout. Invader Coffee's been one of our premier sponsors since the inception of No Credentials Required because it's that good of coffee. It's that good of coffee, and the coffee's that good. Let's put it that way. You're not only getting air roasted beans, which cuts out all the acidity, because believe it or not, folks, that acidity makes you dump sugar and sweeteners and all that artificial sweeteners and all that cream and half, and just puts on extra calories. It's the acidity. It's not the acidity the bitterness comes from the acidity. And what they do is that they air roast their beans to cut out all the acidity. It also comes from bad beans too. So they get their beans nice and fresh. Mm-hmm. They air roast them, cut out all the acidity. So you get yourself a nice smooth blend every single time. So you don't have to put all that stuff in your coffee. They just add extra calories. And as a guy who's trying to drop some LBs, that certainly helps. And it's so smooth, you can just drink it black, and it's still delicious.
Yeah, very delicious. Unfortunately, when I broadcast from parts unknown, I do not have Invader Coffee in my mug today, but I do have 2 blends on the way. I ordered some blends last week, and they should be here imminently. Because I last Saturday's show, I extolled my love of the OG blend, so I got myself a bag of it because I noticed it was back in stock. Whole bean, of course, because Ryan and I are French press guys on this show. But use the code BELLYUP. You'll get 15% off your order. Their shipping is fast. It will get to you in a matter of days. They use the priority shipping, which is part of the reason why you might pay a little more, but our 15% helps you offset that. And their customer service, amazing. I usually get a handwritten note when I order the coffee. They mentioned that things were going to be going up in price, and full disclosure, they told you why, and they told you by how much. But I'm not sure if that's still the case, because we're not going to get into what's going on right now politically and with everything else. But They notify you when things are going on. They notify you when coffees are back in stock. They notify you if there's shortages. They tell if you have an issue with your order, they'll tell you exactly why. Their full disclosure is something I really admire about them as a company. And also, as we've said many, many times, the coffee is great. So give it a shot.
Yeah. So they have their regular blends, either in whole bean or ground. You can also order their K-Cups, which is usually the Mexican chocolate blend.
Mm-hmm.
You can also get their cold brew, which is really, really great. You can get them
Oh,
in
yeah.
individual cans, or you can get a nice tidy case, which is a 12-pack. Save a little cashola that way. But it's not only that. You can also buy a bag of coffee for a deployed military member, and they do that with an organization called Move America Forward. You spend $18, but you send a nice bag of coffee to someone who's deployed.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which is an awesome cause, and I appreciate that because I have members of my family who have served. I'm sure they would rather drink a great cup of coffee as opposed to a crappy cup of coffee that they might usually get with their military rations. But yeah, you would definitely want this coffee instead of what the military usually gives you, I suspect. So, but yeah, Invader Coffee, links in the description. It helps our show, but also save 15% off your order with the promo code BELLYUP. Get a little bit off your shipping. And Invader Coffee, guess what? You get the no credentials required seal of approval. There's Puppers.
He's out there.
Good old Puppers. All right, we're going to wrap up our show. It'll be a pretty fast show today because of, maybe I'll talk about my Atlanta trip a little bit more, but we're going to wrap up our show with our favorite athletes to wear the number 25. Oh, why is this number there twice? Hang on. I just put number twice.
We're not. Oh, I thought I was looking at, I was like, 25 twice. And I was going to make it show.
Our favorite athletes to wear number 25. I just realized, there's two numbers there. But yes, number 25. I'm going to lead off this one because I led off last time. I gave my number 24. Number 25 this time. I'm going to go with Mark McGwire. And
okay.
I remember as a kid watching Reading Rainbow. I was fascinated with the 1988 Oakland A's, the Bash Brothers.
Yeah, the Bash Brothers, yeah.
With Mark McGwire and Jose Canseco. I was especially fascinated with Jose Canseco because he was going for the 40-40. 40 home runs, 40 stolen bases. He'd be the first man to do that. And he did it. But I remember an episode of Reading Rainbow with LeVar Burton that they had Mark McGwire and Jose Canseco on that episode. And Mark McGwire was teaching kids how he approached his batting stance. And I adopted some of his mannerisms in my batting style. Because what he would do is that he would kind of when he would try, before he would bring his bat to his shoulder, he would kind of like weigh it a little bit and use the momentum to bring it up to his shoulder. But that wasn't the primary reason why I was enamored with the both of them. I mean, obviously they're hitting home runs and breaking records, all sorts of records. And then we kind of had a pause in his career, and then 1997 comes, and the home run chase for the single season record is on. And we talk about PEDs, we talk about the use of performance enhancing drugs, and we've had a lot of development in the way we use or what that they're considered safe.
Yeah.
But at the time, he's using that the supplement Andro, and what's that in the background? People are journalists are asking, what's that little container right there? It's Andro. It's the supplement I use for recovery. We didn't know much about the recovery side of athletics, much more back in 1997 than we do in 2025. There's a lot more supplements that help with recovery, that help with muscle recovery. And you don't think muscles in baseball has anything to do with baseball. They do.
Yeah.
So 1997 comes along, and McGwire's chasing Maris. He's in St. Louis. He gets traded to St. Louis, and his career goes through sort of a renaissance in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
And he's chasing Maris. I think he hits over 60 home runs that year, if I'm not mistaken. Let's do the real-time research here.
Trademark. There's also a great 30 for 30
Yes.
on this subject called Long Gone Summer.
Yep.
Watch it if you haven't. And if you're in a baseball mood like I am, it's worth the watch.
Now, here's a fun fact about Mark McGwire. He was originally drafted by the Montreal Expos in 1981 as an 18-year-old. Drafted in the 8th round, and then he was drafted by the A's in 1984 from the University of Southern California. Played for the United States in the Olympics in 1984 as a first baseman. But in 1997, he hit 24. So let's see. Oh, my apologies. He hit 58 home runs. So. Okay. Gets traded. He goes to Oakland, goes through his time at Oakland, hits 49 his rookie year, wins Rookie of the Year. Outstanding. 88, hits 32. He's consistently in the 30s, all the way up until 1991, where he hits only 22 home runs, then back up to 42. Then kind of goes through a struggle in 93 and 94. Only plays 27 games in 93, 47 in 94. 95, he comes back, hits 39 home runs. Then he hits 52. Then he comes to 97, and in Oakland, he hits 34. Then he hits 24 more when after he gets traded to St. Louis. Then the race is on. He only hits 34. I'm sorry, he only hits 24 in 1997. But injuries, only plays 51 games that year. Then 1998 comes along, and the race is on for merit. He's hitting home runs after home run after home run. It just seems like every other day he's hitting a home run.
He had a hot start that year.
Really hot start. And that's when the Andro thing comes. That's when the Andro conversation comes along, and PEDs and all that nonsense that had to go to Congress.
Yes.
Waste of taxpayer dollars. Although it did expose Rafael Palmeiro, which was hilarious and sad at the same time.
Yeah.
But that's another subject.
But whoever that Congress member, who was like Rafael Palmieri's 300th hit. Like he totally had everything.
I think it might have been John McCain.
He had everything totally screwed up.
Yeah, speaking of another number 25, and he's been persona non grata ever since.
Yeah.
But McGwire hit 70 home runs, and it was great to see. I still have the VHS tape of when he hit number 70.
Oh, wow.
I still have it. But it was just amazing to see. I mean, and this is when baseball was coming off the strike in 1994, the season that ended prematurely. Baseball fans are still some fans, sports fans have never come back to baseball since this season ended in 1994. Because of all their problems, and baseball needed a shot in the arm, and they got it with the shot in the arm and with McGwire, Sosa, Chase, and then next season Mark McGwire hits 65, then he hits 32, then he ends his career after the 2001 season with 29 home runs in 97 games. So, but you can talk about the controversy, you can talk about all the stuff with the PEDs. The PEDs ain't hitting them home runs.
Yeah.
It's the people at the plate who are hitting those home runs.
Yeah.
And I mean, we talk about all of the stuff he did on the field, and I guess he was a pretty charitable guy off the field too. Like a very approachable guy to talk to. And I mean, there could be some stories out there. I could contradict what I say, but I personally, I don't know the guy. So I can't really say much about that, but to me, my favorite athlete to wear number 25 because just everything that happened from my childhood all the way up to the record being broken in 1998. Mark McGwire is the guy for me for number 25. Dustin, how about you?
That's a great pick, Ryan. And I thought about Big Mac for number 25.
I will caveat this with a spoiler alert for the next 3 episodes. They are going to be Homer alerts. So
okay, all right, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, some people might have thought that I was going to go Homer alert with my pick for 25. No, I'm not picking Richard Sherman.
really,
Richard Sherman, great player, very smart, but also made it extremely hard to root for the Seahawks at certain times because he was Richard was being Richard, man. But I do like Sherm. I do like Sherm, but I'm not picking Richard Sherman. I thought about Big Mac because I, like you, he had an impact on me, and I kind of rooted for the A's in that 80s period you're talking about because they had Ricky Henderson at the time. They had Jose Canseco. They had McGwire. I liked all 3 of those guys, and I liked their color scheme. I've always been a Yankee fan. I'm a Yankee fan through and through, but I'd be lying if I didn't root for the A's a little bit during that period there when I was getting baseball cards and post cereal boxes and stuff like that. But I also thought about, I liked Rafael Palmeiro back in the day. There's a lot of people that wore number 25, but to me, as I was going through, because I was like, I've done so much baseball on the show. Griffey was my 24. I've been doing a lot of baseball lately. A number 25 that stuck out to me, I'm going hockey for this one, Ryan. Joe Nieuwendyk.
Hey.
I always respected Joe Nieuwendyk for his longevity. He played for like most of my life, and there's something I liked about Joe Nieuwendyk. One, I thought his name was pretty cool, but also he just came off as like he's just a lunch pail guy, but he was good. He's good, but he just played for so long, and I respected it. And somebody that I worked with has a picture with Joe Nieuwendyk, and I immediately, when she was putting that up at her office when she first got to my place of employment, I said, "Is that Joe Nieuwendyk?" And she's like, "It is Joe Nieuwendyk." And we had a whole conversation about Joe Nieuwendyk, but I just respected the way that he approached the game. And he was one of those people that was just always there throughout my childhood, because I believe he started playing in 1983, if I remember correctly. That's the year I was born. And he played all the way up till about 2003. So, he basically played from when I was a kid until I was in college. It was a great run for Joe Nieuwendyk. He was a guy that wasn't afraid to get his nose dirty a little bit and play. He wasn't exactly like I don't think he was considered like a star of like huge echelon, but he was very good in my opinion. And I was like, you know what? I'm picking Nieuwendyk for this one because I want to give him a little hat tip. I don't think enough people talk about one Joe Nieuwendyk, but I always appreciated his longevity. I remember him. I think he finished up with the Panthers, if I remember correctly.
Yes, you are correct.
But yeah, it was always a joy to watch Joe Nieuwendyk play, and I just felt like he was tough. Even though he was like a center, I'm like, yeah, but Nieuwendyk's tough, though. He'll fight somebody. So shout out to Joe Nieuwendyk.
So yeah, I'm looking over his career on Hockey Reference. He actually is part of the NHL's 100th anniversary team.
Yeah,
he's also in the Hall of Fame. Did not start off his career. He didn't play his first full season until 1987-1988.
Okay.
Drafted by the Calgary Flames. He made his NHL debut in 1987. During the 86-87 season. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's why we do the real-time research here. He actually started his career wearing the number 18, and then he wore number 25. He was also traded. He was then traded, played several seasons in Calgary. Played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. His first 8 seasons in Calgary. Won a Stanley Cup in 1989, and it was traded to Dallas in that trade that sent Jarome Iginla. The pick that was eventually Jarome Iginla to the Calgary Flames, and was traded to Dallas. Won a cup with them in 1999. Then was traded to my New Jersey Devils. in 2002, in 2001, 2002. Then and played a full season in 2003. Won the Stanley Cup with the Devils. And I remember, and I have one story about Joe Nieuwendyk because I had the DVD from the 2003 Stanley Cup playoffs documentary about the New Jersey Devils Cup run. And Joe Nieuwendyk got hurt in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Final. I think he tore an abdominal muscle.
Oh man!
And he tried to make a go of it in Game 7, and basically played like 2 shifts and said, "I can't do it." And I think it was Pat Burns, who was coach at the time. Rest in peace, Patty O'Burns. He said he noted after a bad first period in the Game 7. They fell behind 1-0. They were behind after the first period, and Pat Burns is looking at the locker room, and he sees Joe Nieuwendyk in his locker crying because he can't make a go of it. And he's saying, "Look, Joe Nieuwendyk's in the corner. He can't go. He wants to get out there. He wants to go. How are you not inspired? How are you not inspired to play for that man right there?" And went out and won the Eastern Final 3-2, and won the Stanley Cup in 7. And actually, Joe Nieuwendyk being out of the lineup, it made the way for Mike Rupp to be inserted into the lineup, and Mike Rupp scored the game-winning goal in Game 7. That was a cup-clinching goal.
Oh wow! No, that's cool. That's cool. And I may have been off on my years. But I always respected Joe Nieuwendyk's toughness. And I primarily remember the Dallas years. And I had forgotten about his year with his run with the Devils there. But yeah, I always respected him. It seemed like, to use an overused term, seemed like he had the grit, you know.
Yeah.
He had the grit, he had the toughness, but he was good, you know. That's the thing. So shout out to you, Mr. Nieuwendyk, if you're watching. We know you're a big fan.
Played with Calgary, played with the he won this. So the Hall of Famer, 3-time Stanley Cup winner, won the Calder Trophy in 1988 as Rookie of the Year, won the Clancy Trophy in 1995, won the Smythe Conn Smythe Trophy as Most Valuable Player of the playoffs in 1999 with the Stars. It was also named to the NHL 100th anniversary team. Played his career with Calgary, Dallas, New Jersey, Toronto, and as you said, Dustin, concluded his career in Florida. So Joe Nieuwendyk, here's to you, sir.
Yeah, you know how much I respect you when I'm rooting for a former Flame. So. Also, shout out to my Oilers, who officially clinched, and they are in the playoff again. They returned to the dance.
I was going to say something about my New Jersey Devils clinching a spot before your Edmonton Oilers did, but I saved it. So before we conclude our show, just want to give a special shout out to my new friends in Atlanta, to Leanne, to Giggs, to James, and to Randall specifically. Randall, I found out Randall and Leanne are big wrestling fans. They're going to WrestleMania in a week. Yeah, which is cool. And I saw them holding up during the reception, holding up the ones for our tribal chief. And I was like, are we acknowledging our tribal chief? They're like, yes, we are. I'm like, yeah. And at the after party, Randall slaps this bracelet on me. I'm like, what's this? He gave me a slap bracelet in the shape of the United States Championship. I'm like, this is cool. Thank you. He's like, this is for you, man. I just want to give the rest this to you as a fellow wrestling fan. I'm like, that's awesome. So yeah, WrestleMania is next weekend. I can't believe that. But it's fun. If they weren't in Vegas and we weren't doing our show at 10 a.m. Eastern because it's 7 a.m. Pacific time, like I'd have them as special correspondents for WrestleMania. So
nice.
It would be cool. It'd be cool. But I want to give them a special shout out to everyone in Atlanta that I met, became friends with. And, you know, I'm going to, I said before the trip, I said to my sister, I said, you know what? I'm not sure why, but I have a feeling I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there a lot more often. So I'm trying to get a point to go every few months or so, maybe a couple times a year to Atlanta, just to visit and say hello. And you don't know. Maybe I might move down there. You don't know.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
No Waffle House. That did me. Waffle House did me dirty. Ugh. And here's the thing too. And here's the shame of it too. Like, the people in that place were so nice to me. Like, they were very accommodating. I told them it was my first time in a Waffle House, and they were like, "Oh, that's so cool." They'll welcome in. They gave me coffee, and they gave me all that, everything. It just made me feel welcome and comfortable, and the food was pretty good. And I left them a positive review. Then, like an hour later, I get sick, and I'm like, "Oh, I feel so bad." Because I was trying to, like, in the back of my mind, I'm going, how did I just feel like crap all of a sudden? And it's like, but the way I've recovered the last couple of days, because yesterday was the first full day I actually felt pretty good. Like, I got my energy back, and I got my appetite really full back. And I think it might have been my time at my first and last experience at Waffle House.
Oh man!
But no, but in all seriousness, Atlanta, it was great. You were great. I can't wait to be back in be back in your city. Sorry. Bad Ryan. First Luka's mom, and now making a joke about being in oh man. But Luka's mom, how you doing? In the meantime, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna enjoy our Saturdays. Well, I'm gonna enjoy my Saturday. Dustin's going back in parts unknown. Yes. But in the meantime, follow us on social media. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. And also check out our other podcasts and articles on bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast wherever you find podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, and Pandora. And also don't forget to get notified, hit that notification bell on Twitter, on YouTube. That way you know when we're live, when we got show announcements, when we got show clips, all that stuff. Follow us on social media. Follow us on, subscribe to the podcast, rate, review, comment, 5-star rating, leave a review. If you're on Spotify, leave a comment. Every one of them counts. And also, if you're watching us on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel, on the replay afterwards, leave us a comment. What's your favorite bagel? Is ESPN a dumpster fire of a network? Is Luka's mom really that hot? Who's your favorite number 25? All that stuff. Leave a comment. It drives up the algorithm, and also leave us a like, all that good stuff. So in the meantime, we're going to be back on Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to get out of here. Thank you for joining us in the morning brunch edition of No Credentials Required, the Saturday morning brunch edition of No Credentials Required. We're giving you a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. For Dustin Henry, who's in front of Dominic Hasek, I'm Ryan McCarthy. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again on Tuesday evening.
Special shout out to my brother-in-law for winning the Ovi Goal Watch contest 12 minutes before he broke the record. We'll get your package to you, sir.
Package. Wait, don't forget your sign off, man.
Good morning, everybody.
Get back to work.